Hey guys, today I want to talk about the newest broken PvE combo in Etheria Restart, and that is Fucho and DokiDoki. And I've been playing with this combo for the past couple of days to make sure that it is really good. It has broken the bottleneck, the biggest bottleneck of my account, which is going to be Inferno Sharon, easily. Like without a shadow of a doubt. They are so freaking strong in this particular dungeon, but they are also very strong in other part of the game as well. So for Sharon Inferno, they are crushing this boss with ease, and I'm using my Freya as well in here to provide my knitting with more damage output. So the whole gist of the combo is you have a lot of speed buff between the speed buff of Fucho and the speed buff of DokiDoki. So DokiDoki can buff you with a thing called Data Stream, and that is like a sort of permanent speed buff that stack up over time in the battle, and that allow your team to move faster. And DokiDoki boosts turn meter. Fucho also boosts turn meter, and DokiDoki can cleanse your dot, plus Fucho can shield you and heal you. Overall, give you a very good layer of protection against this particular boss in the game, which love to put dots on you and AoE attack your team the entire time. However, with the shield from Fucho and one extra artisan on my Freya, I am clearing this thing with ease, under 2 minutes, and that gives me a repeat battle, and that is amazing. And because I've been farming Sharon Inferno for the past couple of days, I have been getting some new amazing shell for my account. So the best one that I've got so far, I think it's going to be one of the Swift my Dark Moon. So for my future debuff character, this is going to be one of the best thing ever, right? Extend debuff and provide a bit extra damage because the shell actually attack the enemy. And another one I got that was really good, exactly what I need for my future improvement, or not exactly what I need, but very close. It is going to be this beautiful supernova with wellspring and bloodbath, so it can give my Fucho more healing output, which is amazing. I know there are many other shell that Fucho can use, like Fortissimo and Artisan or whatever you want, okay? Doesn't really matter, but overall, a good supporter shell for Fucho is going to be incredible. So my Fucho is now very fat, and the moment I can farm Rengoku's Inferno, I can switch the Fortissimo on her with Wellspring and maybe Evolve Guard as well. So now she's healing more, she's tanking more, she's not too fast. I give her some speed, but it's not too important. I think she can be a bit faster because when you run this character, it's going to be a very long fight compared to, let's say, Valerian. When you run Valerian, you notice that the fight either ends very quickly, you don't die to one-shot damage, but when the fight gets too long, there's going to be a very big duration in between her skill 3, and that is the biggest weakness of Valerian. However, when you run Fucho, you don't really have that weakness anymore because she gained turn meter when she's not using the Moonlit Veil. So she just gain a lot of fucking turn meter all the time and get back to the AoE shielding and speed buffing pretty much immediately. And you pair her with things like DokiDoki that can give her turn meter and especially give her cooldown reduction, is going to be so much better as well. I've been loving this combo so much that I invested into DokiDoki skill 3. I don't think you need this though, because this is going to give you a bit extra data stream and lower cooldown for this character. And I'm pairing DokiDoki with Halloween and Time Weave. I'm doubling down on the cooldown reduction. So my DokiDoki spam skill 3 like is never having cooldown. It's really good. So with DokiDoki in the team, my Fucho and Freya, who is on a pretty random Swift and Artisan build, is gonna be buffing my team all the freaking time. And with the data stream stack for my knitting, is gonna be even crazier. So my goal is to skill up my Fucho skill 3 to give more healing and more turn meter boost. That's gonna be incredible. You can 100% use her without any skill up. If you skill up your LDSSR DokiDoki, it's gonna be much better. Like giving DokiDoki more speed with the skill 1 upgrade or more value out of your data stream is gonna be so freaking good. Okay, if I can max this skill out, oh my god, it's crazy good. But other than that, these two are so amazing together, and they allow me to farm this dungeon with so much ease. Before this, I could not play this freaking content. Like, it's so hard. But with DokiDoki cleanse plus Fucho shielding plus the actual speed that my team is getting, because when you find this particular boss, they're so hard because everyone over there is having speed buff, and because you can't debuff this boss, you can't really slow the boss down effectively. You can replace Freya with Holden, and you can strip the speed buff as well. If you have a max skill 3 Holden, the strip is going to be very consistent. But if you run Freya, you get more attack buff, which means your knitting can kill the thing faster. You have the cleanse from Freya Dream Weave as well, the skill 2, and plus the shield. You have so many buffs so that the strip ability of the axe become not as strong because you're now stacking so many buffs on your team that stripping become a bit harder for them to do. You can also use this combo in Termaton. So I try a team with Shadow Sana and a team without Shadow Sana. The team with Shadow Sana is going to be faster, obviously, because you can put more dots, you can deal more damage with the dots, and overall just more damage output on the boss. This is not going to be suitable for the team that want to two-shot the boss, let's say with like Chloros, Hoyin, or Ditting, because you don't have the attack buff defense break kind of setup, but you do have a lot of defensive capability. So solo Fanger's damage can easily just take the boss down. It's just going to take a lot of time. For the team without Shadow Sana, you can run Katchi the God for immunity and defense buff. And with immunity, defense buff, the cleanse from my DokiDoki, and the heal the shield from the Fucho, I think the overall sustain is going to be more than enough to keep the boss from one-shotting you, because the biggest thing about this boss is that it's going to defense break. It's going to slow you down. And with the cleanse from DokiDoki and the immunity and the defense buff, you're going to be surviving very, very fine. So Holden is going to be one of the best strip for this dungeon, but you can try Hendrik, you can try Veronica, but Holden is just like the best in slot for this particular dungeon because of the attack down and the rest down, trying to keep your team alive. And Fangers, you're definitely going to need your Fangers to be built really, really well, especially if you want to survive the first hit. So maybe 6-star your Fangers, skill up your Fangers. If your Fangers get one shot in the first round, it's going to be bad. So one way to avoid getting one shot in the first round is maybe get Bulwarked on your module. So if you have Bulwark, you don't get defense break, you don't die too easily. You can also try to, instead of going for Artisan, if you can get your hands on, let's say, the Auto Shell, that is the Lord of Silence. So you can have the Void State for Fangers, so he can avoid getting one shot, because I think the other character like Katchi the God or Holden can be a bit tankier, and DokiDoki and Fucho can also be built tanky because they're not damage dealer. They can be built with more health and defense, so they can't be one shot too easily. It's just Fangers. If Fangers die, then it's gonna be a problem. So trying to find a way to keep Fangers alive is going to be important, because if you're not Valerian in this dungeon, you might be vulnerable to getting one shot. So maybe don't use Katchi the God, use Valerian in there so that you're gonna avoid getting one shot. And you can also use this combo in DokiDoki. So you run this very defensive combo plus a CC unit like Kazuyo and another buffer, let's say Katchi the God or Freya or the green cast, or no, green Chiaki, that can be very, very good, and a solo damage dealer. Let's say Rosa or Messiah or Siada. It doesn't matter what damage dealer you have, as long as you have a damage dealer in there. Maybe not Remoka. Remoka is more for the speed team. Or you can run the Claws in place of the AoE buffer as well, depending on what you want. Maybe Claws gonna make your run a bit faster if you have Claws. So the run is gonna be very, very defensive. But because you have buff, you have speed, you have cleanse, you have maybe another buffer like Katchi the God of Freya, it's gonna be very, very safe for you. Because even when the enemy team managed to hit you with that amount of buff and maybe attack break from the Kazuyo, you're gonna be just fine. Like, they're not gonna one-shot even your damage dealer. I know in this dungeon there's some run when you watch, suddenly everybody decide to go for your squishy damage dealer, but with that amount of buff and the attack break from Kazuyo, is going to be very, very safe for you. I think I kind of use a trio instead of a duo. So we have Fucho, DokiDoki, and Katchi the God. So we see Fucho being on high health and not too crazy speed, and we have DokiDoki on decent speed and overall just high defense and HP because she's another support character. For Katchi the God, this guy's probably going to be the weak link of the trio, but he's going to be very, very good overall for pretty much everything else in the game. So building Katchi the God is never really a wrong thing. So if Katchi the God, you only want to max out a skill 3. If you want to get more speed in skill 1, which I do, I also invested in a skill 1 because I use this guy way too much to not invest into him. You can probably ignore the skill 2 for a very long time. For module, I like to go with Time Weave and Swift to give him speed and accuracy. Also, random cooldown reduction so that he can spam the skill 3 as often as he can. With DokiDoki, then the skill 3 is going to come back even quicker, which is incredible. For the shell, you can run like Gigabyte. I think the most optimal one might just be Artisan because he buffed his own defense. So the shield is going to be like humongous, right? So Artisan, Gigabyte. Overall, I just want like Swift and Time Weave. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't found a single Artisan with triple bonus with Swift and Time Weave. So maybe the day where I find it, then I will switch the Gigabyte off and put on Artisan. I think Artisan is probably going to be better. So with these 3 units, you're going to be like crazy safe in all the Inferno model dungeon that you're going to play, except for maybe Aurora. That's a different story. So Kazuyo is going to use a very similar set to Holden, because Holden is there to strip the immunity and he needs to be fast. Kazuyo is going to be there to sleep the enemy in DokiDoki, so she got to be fast. If you are tight on module, I can afford to build 2 of them at the same time, but you're probably going to be using the same set. For this guy, I'm using crit rate, but because I can afford to do so. The easier build is just to run like double defense and then maybe 1 slot defense %, and you're pretty good to go, because the most utility you're going to get from him is going to be the strip capability. But if you can afford him to do damage, then that's going to be great. That's why I like to pair him with Katchi the God, because the defense buff is going to give him more damage output. And overall, because of how good the buff stacking from DokiDoki is, this combo is going to be very good for long battle, like let's say Phantom Theater or of Infinity Train, or in the future we have the Whale Rumble, the Cage Rumble thing once again. Any content that takes a while to clear and you have to be in there to buff your team constantly, like even Anything Echo for example, I think this combo is gonna be great. Ember track stage that you cannot dodge, so with this combo in there, it's gonna allow you to buff your team like a whole much and survive for very long. So overall, a very good combo. Unlike Lily and Klaus, this combo is going to be more defensive, so the runtime for everything will be longer, but it is a very strong combo. I highly recommend you build if you don't have Lily and Klaus like me. I do have Klaus now, but I got her like 30 days too late. I'm still using her. She's going to be incredible for certain things in the game, and I will be 6-starring her, maxing out her skill 3 as well. But this combo, if you get them early game, you have a tanky DokiDoki, very fast, you have a tanky Fucho, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I think you can run like Artisan, you can run like other defensive shell on her, but watching my DokiDoki get so much cooldown reduction with the Time Weave, with the Halloween, she is just a freaking beast, bro. Like, she's just so fucking good. My entire team move non-stop with the skill 3. It's incredible. Other than that, I think there's a team for Aurora Inferno with this girl in there. So we have her on Amber so that she doesn't get one shot, because the game really hates the idea that you bring an opposite element to play in a certain dungeon. So she got to be on something that allows her to survive the one-shot damage. And then you do the usual DokiDoki for the support. The healing from Linglo is going to help you clear the Aurora debuff, the strip from Viper, and then whatever damage deal you like. Ditting, Ciara, Rosa. And the team is going to be alive for a long time with double healer, speed buff, and a lot of cooldown support. However, the run is going to be a bit longer because there's no like attack buff, there's no defense break. It's just going to be there for a long time. I think that's the whole point of this team right here. So we go in, pretty standard, right? So if you don't have Fucho, dude, Fucho almost died right there. You'll be using like Tsukiyomi. I think Mia is also best in slot. Fucho got one shot in the very first round. But then we're going to have turn meter boost for the team so that she can get out of the ice state. And we have healing coming out from Linglo as well, so that we can have healing on Fucho so that she can get out of the state and start doing the healing. So with Ciara, you have defense break in here as well. I think Ciara is just pretty much the best in slot for this particular dungeon because you can steal the immunity with her skill 1 and you can apply your own defense break to do even more damage. So the moment she buffed that, you now have shield, you now have speed buff for the team, so not too slow, and that is pretty much the run. It's gonna take like a long time though. You saw, I think the clear time for this one is anywhere from like 5 to like 8 minutes depending on the RNG of your damage output. So I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest, but it is doable for this particular dungeon. Okay, you can definitely use other characters as well, but for the sake of minimizing the things you need to build because the game resources is not exactly very generous, then you can also do the DokiDoki Fucho in here. Not a fan of that though, personally. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be enjoying some new shell that I'm gonna farm. I haven't got a single Halloween with Swift Rush yet, but I believe if I farm this long enough, it's gonna show up, right? It's anytime now. It's gonna show up anytime now. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.